Hello, this video was originally going to be for 500 subscribers, but I'm clearly not there yet, so consider this an early tutorial. The materials you're going to need are scissors, eye mesh, fur, a cat mask base, felt or wool, and elastic. First, I start with tracing how I'm going to cut out the eyes. Of course, you do not have to do this if you don't want to. I'm gonna apologize right now. I have sped out the video as fast as it can go, but you can see that I have a scissors identity crisis. I could not figure out which ones worked the best. You can skip this part if you want to. Once you have finished, I like to cut out the cheeks a little. Of course, you do not have to do this, but if you do, I suggest tracing it first and then cutting like I did. You can skip this part. After that, I trace where I'm going to cut the ears, just like before, and I cut it out. Pretty much the same thing we've been doing this whole time. You do not have to do this part, but if you want to make the bendy ears, I suggest cutting them off. For the ears, I trace out the shape I want on a piece of paper, label it left and right. I start with the left one, I cut it out, and then for the right one, I just flip it over and trace it and cut that one out. Then you take a piece of felt and trace out the shapes that you just cut out on the paper. Make 2 for each side. Now you take a piece of wire and trace it around the edge of the shape. Make sure you are gluing it to the bottom piece of fabric and then putting the paper on top. Then I go back and glue the last piece of fabric to the top. Then do the same thing for the right. Here I am tracing the shape that we cut out of the ears so that we can have a nice smooth forehead. Then we start felting. I start by putting a little bit of glue on the nose and working my way up and around the entire face. Make sure to smooth the fabric out so that you don't end up with any wrinkles. Here you can see me pulling the felt off. That's just because I messed up and it got wrinkly. You can have wrinkles, but it doesn't work as best for painting. Make sure to glue all around the eyes and make sure that it doesn't pop up anywhere. Once you were done felting, I forgot to record this part, but I cut the excess off, the excess felt, and then I cut these little flaps that you can see me folding down and gluing. Be very careful with this part because it's very easy to burn yourself. Then you cut a little slit in the eyes and make the little flaps and then glue it down. Now it's time to debaldify our base and add the ears. I add just a little bit of glue on the end and then glue it to the back. I added a little bit of support from an extra mask base that I had to keep the ear in place. Then I make the nose, which is pretty simple. I just made sort of a T shape and then painted it with 2 different shades of pink. Then I trace how I'm going to paint the mask. For painting, you can either use acrylic paint or you can use an airbrush. I usually use an airbrush, but I did not have time to use it for this mask, so I just used normal paint. Make sure to add just a little bit of water so that the paint will stick to the mask. Later on you can see me adding dirty water to the paint I was too lazy to get up and change it, so I do not suggest adding dirty water to your paint, but if you have to, then it's fine. For the details, I use a smaller brush and a slightly different color. Make sure you don't leave white spots when you are painting for the first time, because as you can see, I did leave a lot of white spots for my brown color, and I had to go over it, and the color was not right. So it's best to make sure you cover the whole thing the first time. Now for the eyes, I take 2 pieces of mesh, about square shaped-ish, kind of, and I paint it whatever color I want the eyes to be. I did not record this part, but make sure you trace out in a very, very light marker where like the eyes will be on the mesh, and then sort of paint in that shape to start with. Then you can leave those to dry. In the meantime, we can do the fur. Trace out how you want it, and then cut it very carefully. At this point, I realized I forgot to glue the nose, so I did that really quick. Once the eyes are dry, you can glue them. You can cut off the extra mesh to make it more comfortable, but you don't have to. Here I'm just repainting the eyes because they didn't turn out how I wanted them to. Then I glue the fur. I cut a little slit in it like that, so I can fold it so that it makes like an arch shape. I ended up cutting 2 more strips of fur so that I can have 2 on each side. Then the same thing for the ear fur. For coloring the fur, I just used eyeshadow. Then I added some last details to the paint. You can add charms if you want, but you do not have to. This next part you don't have to do, but lining the back of your mask can make it look a lot better. You just do the same thing that you did on the front. You start at the nose and hot glue the piece of fabric all over the back of the mask. Then you cut off the excess fabric, but make sure that you're cutting smaller than the mask. Then you just cut out the eyes. Make sure you're being very careful with this part because you might cut too much or you might not cut enough. Then here, I just made some teeth. You don't have to. I just took the ears that we cut off before and cut out little triangles. And then lastly, you add the elastic. I just glued it under the lining. And then I added another charm, but then again, you don't have to. Make sure to brush out the fur so that there's no extra clumps. And now she's all done. She is a blueberry muffin inspired cat mask, and her name is Myrtle because blueberries are also called myrtle berries. Thank you!